Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Belegian.
You could join us for another edition of what we are so excited to talk about here all across the network. It's the proven path, and something that both my partner, Mike Ivesil, and yours truly, Sean Belegian, are very, very passionate about. High school hockey is one of the hidden gems in our great state of Michigan. And if you haven't gone out and seen it yet, well, you should, and you're going to have ample opportunity pretty soon. But part of the reason we're doing this, thanks to our friends with the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association, is we want to let people know, hey, listen, you are watching guys move on each and every year to varying degrees, moving onward and upward, as it were, coming out of the MHSAA ranks. And of course, one of the things that we're doing, Mike, is we're talking to guys all over the state. This guy has been around for quite some time now, certainly had a lot of success in Midland. Let's welcome him in. Of course, the head coach up at Midland, Steve Witt. And first of all, Coach, really, really appreciate you taking the time and joining us here tonight. How are you, bud?
Great. Thank you. I kind of expected a nice walk-up song coming up, but maybe we'll get that next time. Little Guns N' Roses to bring me on, but hey, we'll get that.
Well, two old GNR fans here. Yep. I think we might be able to work that in for later.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. So you know, Coach, we got this show going, talking about the proven pathway. We have the coaches on. We have some players to talk about where high school hockey has taken them. You are one of those guys that have done it both ways, as a player and as a coach. So let's start with your playing career. What led you to play at Midland, and where did it take you?
Oh, geez. So you're going to age me. I actually grew up here in town, and I graduated in 1991. And my plan was to be a Spartan. I was done with hockey. You know, I had some would say a good high school career. And I got a call from, at the time, Dave Wessner, who was the coach and general manager of the Saginaw Gears. And he said, hey, we drafted you. I said, great, I'm going to go to Michigan State. And that was in the back of my mind. But I kind of got back in shape and I talked to him a few more times and went to, this is what you hear, but it's the truth. I went to orientation at Michigan State, was ready to go, went to training camp, and I was the last group of kids to be sent down to their affiliate team. And I said, perfect, I'm going to Michigan State. I moved in. I was there probably 6 hours and get a phone call. And, again, aging me, I take the 50-foot spiral telephone and I go out into the hallway. And it was Dave, and he said, hey, Michigan State's going to always take your money. You won't have a chance to do this if it doesn't work out, work hard, go back to Michigan State in the wintertime. So I made the dreaded call to my mother and father, and said, hey, come get me. And my dad, I'll never forget it, very calmly said, well, I have a meeting until about 5 o'clock, so I can't get down there till 7. I said, you're not mad? And he said, well, if you don't want to be there, don't go. So that was the start. I was kind of floated around the first year. Second year, had the grander idea to go to the International Junior Hockey League, an expansion team, the Great Falls Americans. If you look them up, we were the only American team. It got me away from home. Like the teams were Lethbridge, got Kenai, which was not the Alaska team, but it was on a reservation. And that was a tough adjustment. There were 5 of us living in a hotel. We kind of rotated beds. So after a few weeks, I said, I'm heading home. So I was one of the local kids playing for the Saginaw Gears in the North American League. 8 teams at that time. Loved it. I grew up tremendously as a person, not only a hockey player. And then had the opportunity to go to play at Ohio University, where my father went to school. That's where I met all of my closest friends and guys I played with, guys I played against. Your favorite, the Hubenschmidt boys.
There we go.
Real good friends, and we played against each other, and I didn't know them before that. So did my undergrad in 3 years, stayed there for grad school, moved back to this area, and was coaching youth hockey. And my high school coach, Bob Scurfield, I ended up coaching his kids, and one thing led to another. And 8 years ago, so this will be my 9th year, had the opportunity to go back to my roots and take the helm at Midland High School. And again, it's an honor. It may sound cliche, but it truly is. It's pretty awesome to be able to coach your high school team, and I'm coaching kids of my friends from high school. And but yeah, it's been 27 years of youth hockey. Travel. Often there were years where I was coaching 3 teams. So it's been a run, but it's been fun.
Right.
It's been fun.
Hey, Steve, during that time, I always say this, forget 27, 30, 35 years ago. I've seen tremendous growth just in the last 10 years. I'll tell anybody that listens where the game was 10 years ago and where it is now. There are 2 entirely different places. You have a unique position being in Midland, certainly some great hockey being played in that area, some great players coming out of that area as well. What's your perception of how this level has grown over the past decade plus?
Oh, you nailed it. It's, going back at the 20-year mark to the 15, to the 10, to even the 5. And we do have a bit of a unique, and I guess not to grandstand, but I might, and there's a few of us around here that have an even, better, I guess, stance, because I work with a couple junior teams that, scouting, and so I'm watching AAA hockey. I'm watching high school hockey. I'm watching, some tier 2 midget hockey, and to see specifically where high school hockey's come in the last 10 years, it is. And you look at drafts, you look at rosters, you look at, elite prospect profiles, and you're seeing more MHSAA teams on those lists than ever before. And, there's, I think, a stigma of you got to play AAA, and there's nothing wrong with AAA. But up in Midland, we're just on the cusp. You get to Saginaw, south of us. They lose some kids to AAA, and we're an hour and 40, I guess, from Torrey Sports Center or Buffalo Wild Wings Arena, and then to get down to Taylor, you're even further. Now, the left coast, the Traverse Cities, they'll lose kids to Fox, but and I tell people this. I'll tell anyone that will listen. In working with Todd Pocock in Springfield, it goes in ebbs and flows, where you're seeing a lot of the higher end kids that they come to a Saginaw Heritage versus Midland High state quarterfinal, and they see, a lineup. If you've ever been to Saginaw Bay Ice Arena, I mean, it gives me goosebumps to talk about it. We lost. It was the best high school game I've been a part of, and I've been a part of some pretty cool ones. Lines out the door, people waiting to get in, and the atmosphere, the pep bands, like they see that, and they see scouts in the stands, scouts on the benches. They're going to get that opportunity. So the product on the ice, and I don't want to say it's never been better, because every year it's getting better.
Yeah.
And we're at a point where, we're continuing to add to that talent pool at the high school level. So it's great.
Well, and I got to say, having guys like you on the bench, you nailed it with saying we've got scouts in the stands and we've got them on the bench too. So a part of improving that product and moving these guys on are guys like you coming back to the high school that you played at and coaching and being able to have that experience of you've got select teams that you coached. You're scouting for the NA, the O, all over the place. Do you use that in your pitch to kids when you're trying to get them to come play for you? Like, hey, I've got scouting. I know this. I can get you on that pathway. I can move you on.
It sounds funny. No, I don't, because I don't. I wish I had and we have kids that would go down and do very, very well at the AAA level. But with the MDHL, MHA, they don't need that. And it's, we make it intentional. So I'll tell you a quick story about the intentionality of it's been 4 years. It was right around COVID, because I remember it was a big dilemma or big bullshit. But Chris Benedict and I, he coaches at Mona, and
Yep.
he said, hey, we had a team drop out of our Conrad tournament. Come play. There's 4 teams. And I said, well, I have games scheduled, but, hey, what about if you bring 4 teams from the west side and I bring 4 from the east side? And I think we're up to 16 teams this year. So things like that we have, where I can see, 15 other high school teams and kids and talk to them about opportunities out. I've used the word, it sounds cliche. Doing this, sometimes don't make friends, because coaches think you have ulterior motives, like you're trying to desecrate their team. Like, come on. But giving kids the opportunity to go play, whether it's tier 2, tier 3, which has taken a huge step in the junior ranks. Last year in Wausau, you had Matthew Witt, you had Anderson Bryan, you had Connor Dvorak, you had Colin Lemansky. Those were all first state MHSAA high school kids. And Colin's going to St. Norbert's. Matthew's at Ohio. Connor's going back to Wausau. Probably going to set some records this year for points. You don't coach high school hockey to be selfish, especially up in our area. At least I would hope. So it's the cool part to give other kids an opportunity to help them navigate the trials and tribulations of junior hockey.
Midland coach Steve Witt kindly joining us here. It's the Proven Path. Thanks to our friends from the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. A couple friends already saying hi in our chat. Tom Sloan says, "What's up, Mr. Witt?" Steve is a friend of the Speakeasy. And, of course, say his name and he shall appear. Hubie jumps in. Jim Hubenschmidt said, "Hey, Witt, what's going on?" You mentioned some of those players, and I have to say this. I think one of the things that the group has done, and when I say the group, I say the whole state, is have some of these summer and fall camps. And one of the things that's going on, whether it be the MHA, whether it be the MDHL, a buzz, and I'm sure you've heard it, a lot of buzz in particular about some of the Midland area kids at the MDHL. Coach, I'm one of those guys. In a perfect world, we'd all have all the best players in the same rink under one banner. That's a conversation for another day. But these camps and these kids that can go out and make a name for themselves and play against some of the best, regardless of what area they come from, you can't put a price tag on that. And I think it's done a real good job of developing kids along the way.
I couldn't agree more, and I'll take it a step further. And again, I hate to, my son left for Ohio yesterday. He doesn't know anyone, right? Like he's going in as, and he played in the MDHL and Team Michigan with Alex Mazuka. Like without the MDHL, that opportunity wouldn't. But they establish these friendships, and I tell, these kids that doing it MDHL this year, the Sanborns, the Mankoffs, the Wessels, these kids are going to be your college roommates because you're going to connect. You're So you grow as a person, doing these things, but you're playing high level hockey, and you you watch some of these games, and it's like, that kid's good. Oh my God, he plays for me. That's Lucas Mankoff last week, and I'm like, whoa, that's. But I know there's there's competition for, but at the end of the day, I think whether it's MDHL, MHA, they all want the same result for the MHSAA kids, and that's to play high level hockey, to prepare yourself for the season, to have a good product on the ice, to give yourself an opportunity after high school if that's what you want. And they're doing a great job of it.
Yeah, I can't agree more. The friendships that are made in those MDHL and MHA teams, they'll go for a lifetime. And you hit it on the head that they're going to be their college roommates. But let's stick to some of these players that you have. In an interview in 2023, you were very excited about 14 new skaters and didn't think they were going to have trouble breaking in. Now, a year later, the season ended last year a little bit rough with that overtime loss, getting so close. What are your expectations this year? Because those guys are returning. 4 of your top 5 players are returning from last year. What are the expectations this year for your Midland team?
I mean, I got to give a plug here, and it fits, but it starts probably 5 years ago. But I have on my staff, I have Chad Sumption, played at Bowling Green from Woodstock, Ontario. He wanted to be a part. He coached junior hockey in Canada, wanted to be part of a high school program, so he came on board. John Sheridan played at Lawrence University in Wisconsin. I coached him. We won a state championship together in 2004, midgets. He's on my staff. Billy Barnett, I played junior hockey with him. Like, I get to go to the rink every day with my best friends. The kids see that. They see the energy. We've created a culture at Midland High School where expectations, they have 3 pillars, right? They have to be responsible in school. They have to be responsible in the community, and they have to be a good teammate. And like, our season started yesterday. The kids went to school, and it was their first day at school. And the text messages I got from the kids of, hey, coach, just so you know, there were a couple freshmen, incoming freshmen, that are going to be trying out for the team. They came to lunch with us. They're not. That's the culture that breeds, success and on the ice. And I joke, we have last year. Like, I'm a busy person, but hockey's a great. And there were times where, 45 minutes after practice, I would say, guys, come on, we got to go. They love being together, and that core is back. We lost 3 seniors and great hockey players, great, even better kids. But we have a great group coming in, and then the core that's coming back. Alex, we just, the excitement, the coaches and I were texting even this morning of, can't wait for the season to start. And this is the worst time of the year where we can't be on the ice. We can't. But that leads to, we're super excited. But, we have Dow High. We have Bay City Central. We have Flint Powers. We like this area. Heritage is a great high school hockey hotbed. And, you look at the and I don't want to sound like Mark Messier or anyone, but look at the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years. There's been a Saginaw Valley team in the Final Four, the state finals at one level. Grace 3 years ago, Midland Dow won, and we lost in the semifinal to Catholic Central. Okay, Hubie, have your laugh. I don't, and I could be wrong. I don't think that year either high school team in Midland cut kids. Like, we just don't have the numbers, but it's a testament to Cody at Dow High and Dick Blasey at the time. And, we like our staff, my staff just, and I don't call them my assistants because they're not, we're all, we just love being together. We love being at the rink. We love working with the kids. The kids see that. So to make a long answer longer, Mike, this year, the expectations, we're going to do some pretty great things, I think, both on the ice, off the ice. The kids are excited. You're going to see a Saginaw Valley team. That's why I didn't want to be Mark Messier, but I don't want to guarantee, but you're going to see a Saginaw Valley team in the Final Four again at one or two of the levels. And that core for us, you're right, is coming back, and we have good goaltending. We have two good goaltenders, and we don't have holes. Like we've had talent before. We've had such good talent come through. This year we have depth. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to work with them.
Jim Friel even gave you a laugh as well, Steve. I had to, being that CC guy that he is. You read my mind, though, because I really wanted to talk up. Everybody talks about areas in the state. And, there's area pride. There's no doubt about that. There's the UP, the West Side, certainly his flex, their muscle. The East Side, whatever the case may be. I don't want anybody to sleep on your area. And I want you to pontificate a little bit about that, because obviously you've made some noise. You mentioned what Coach Blasey and Dow did. You almost set your watch when it seems like JJ's at USA Hockey Arena every single year. Then you got the Wolves, that have kind of been up and coming. Look, the Saginaw Spirit effect in your area has made a lot of young players want to play hockey, and there's some good hockey being played in that region.
Yeah, and I don't know how much time we have, but that's a whole nother, like the excitement that the Memorial Cup brought to, and it's like, and you can't even argue when you go back to 97, 98, when the Wings were winning cups, and you look at those birth years of kids and those were very strong hockey levels in the state of Michigan. And you're going to see that in this area. I don't know if I'll be around, at that point to see that, but before it was always a bit of a cyclical, there was one good team in the area. And now it's, you go in and you got the Bay City Centrals and the Midlands, the Midland Dows and Powers and Heritage, and but you have programs. You have Ben Welch at FNV that he does such a good job with the kids, and I can't say enough about Zach and the culture he's created there. And I'm gonna make some enemies here, so I'll just say it. You don't get that at AAA, and I'll just say it. And I'll back that up. You don't get the culture. It's you're playing for your school. You're playing for your teammates. You're playing for it. Not that you don't play for your teammates at the AAA level. It's just different at high school. And when you see communities rally around high school programs, and the further north you go, the Alpinas, the Traverse City schools, they're big in the community, and that's what's going to build high school hockey in the state of Michigan. And we get caught up in rivalries, and I tell people they want to build rivalries bigger than they are, but you want to see I want to see my neighbors do other than twice a year, maybe 3 times, because it helps the game, right? It helps the game, it helps the kids. I helped several kids from neighboring schools this year land spots, and I had parents come out and say, I was surprised to hear that. Well, I can't say what I want to say right now because I think we're live, but that only helps high school hockey. And Amen. Shame on people that want to put up barriers and rivalries.
Yeah, and that has been a theme with all the coaches, Sean, that we have had on, is that they want to help not just their team, they want to help everybody, because they want high school hockey to get better. And we keep saying high school hockey is moving in the right direction. And here's a question, Coach, that I've asked everyone that we've had on. If there was one thing that you would like to improve upon high school hockey, or one thing that you could change to improve the game and get more eyes and move more kids to juniors, what is one thing you could change or would change about high school hockey?
27 games. You want me to think about that longer? We tried this year. I'm on the board. So Ryan and Dan and Don and Joey, we tried to, and we thought we had it. And the reasoning behind it, and for anyone listening that is involved with schools, to talk to their athletic directors, and like, I have the best support from my administrative staff at Midland High School, the principal, the assistant principals, the athletic director, to where I think it's unfair, and I hate seeing other schools not have it. So I have great dialogue with my AD, but we thought we had 27 games. And what does that mean? Why is just 2 games a big deal? Well, you play 27 games. You have a scrimmage game, so there's 28. You have some playoff games, and you're pushing 30, 31 games average, and you have your MDHL, your MHA, your whatever fall program you have, and now you're getting the game count, and you're getting the exposure, which sometimes is the fence that's put up with AAA versus high school hockey. But that fence is coming down. You can't argue that. You just look at names. You look at, but 27 games, Mike, would be and Sean would be my wish.
I love it. And I want to go back to something that you said, because I can vouch for some of the guys in the area as well. I can't tell you how many times where in a conversation I was texting Travis Perry or JJ or whoever the case may be, and I can't tell you how often they'll say, "Hey, have you checked out this kid at Bay City Central? Have you checked out this kid at Powers? Have you checked out?" It really is a rowing in the same direction. I know it's cliche, but guys genuinely get excited when other guys are having success, and most importantly, moving kids on. And I mean, that's a big part. We want to tell people, the kids, that you can keep going. If you can go, people are going to notice you, and you're going to get that opportunity. I'm sitting next to a guy whose son had that opportunity. He just went to Lindsay over the weekend, and you mentioned it before. Now I want you to go into it in greater detail. As a coach, as a dad, you've got to be uber excited that your son got an opportunity to move on as well. A beautiful campus, a campus that you're familiar with down in Athens. Talk about Matthew heading down to play for the Bobcats.
Yeah, and super excited. It hits home, like, my father went there. He gets to play there, and again, it's a stigma. The ACHA. Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to play. Last year they played Brock, who won the Canadian University. They split with them. They beat them 3-2, and I think they lost 5-1 or 6-1. They played Division III teams. The talent you have, former Division I kids that are playing there because they get a better opportunity, they get a better financial package. They're playing in front of sold out crowds on a rink right on one of the most beautiful campuses in as Sean, in the United States. And he's been down there a day, and I got a text message last night, and he says, and it was simple. He said, "God, Dad, these guys are awesome." And as a dad, you couldn't ask for more. And like I said, Alex Mazuka's down there, another Michigan high school kid. Super proud of that. Salem kid. And I would always, so kids, and I'm very fortunate. I have a 22-year-old Emily. Matthew's 20 and Andrew's 16. They still love hanging out with me and doing stuff. And there was a weekend where Matthew was going to Toronto to a Tiger game, and I told him 10 times, "Matthew, exchange money at the the currency thing at the border." He doesn't, and he kind of panicked, and so I called one of my old teammates, Derek Partlow in Tilsonburg, and I said, "Hey, would you mind?" And he said, "I'll meet him up at the 401. Boom, I'll take care of it." And Matthew went down to Zach Bryan in Columbus, and he went with 3 friends. You had to be 21 to check into a hotel. One of my old teammates from Thunder Bay, Ontario, left his kid's baseball game and went in and checked in Matthew to the hotel. And the only reason I bring this up is that's what I'm telling him. Like, these guys, like your Ohio University teammates, are going to be your closest friends for the rest of your life. You're going to be in each other's weddings. Hockey is what's bringing them together. in academics, but like I can't wait. Like, and that's it gets. I'm selfish where I do. Part of it is I think it's good for mentally to have an off weekend in November, December, January, and February for high school kids, but it gives me an opportunity to also have some family time and go watch my kids and visit Emily at Grand Valley. So I'll get an opportunity to see them this year. I can't wait. And there's some excitement building down there too. So it'll be fun.
That's great. I noticed the smile that came on your face when you're talking about your son being down there, and it's the same smile I'm getting on my face this week when everyone asks me how he's doing up there in Lindsay. Now, Coach, as an ex-player that played high school hockey, went to juniors as a scout, that this game, and just talking to you, I can tell the game real well after high school. What is one piece of advice you would give our high school players that are moving on to play junior hockey this year?
So I'm going to give you one piece of advice, and I'm going to give you a bonus piece. Something that the one piece of advice, would be cliche: work hard. Like, you don't know who's watching and when. How you carry yourself off the ice would be a very big. I had a conversation 2 years ago. School kid will remain nameless. Great player. Met with mom and dad. After a game, and I said, here's some opportunities. We have Springfield. We have, Springfield. And I said, well, I'm not. If you don't, Springfield doesn't take me, some team will. Well, he wasn't there. And just his attitude was, like I crossed him off. Like, I don't even want that kid in Wausau. And that leads to the second piece, the bonus piece is, whether it's another coach, whether it's a scout, don't ignore phone calls or text messages or emails. If someone's representing a junior program, if you have zero interest, tell them that. Hey, coach, Hey, scout, I don't think that's a right fit for me. I appreciate it. But leaving, text messages or emails go unresponsive, we go down and we sit. That's the other fun part about scouting, right? You see the same group of guys rink after rink, and you talk, and who the bad eggs are, and like who thinks they're better, and who doesn't respond, and you got that kid to respond, So have the respect the game. Like, that's a respecting the game piece, because we're all out here trying to give kids opportunities and make them better. So it's not, you can disrespect me all you want, but don't disrespect the game. And that's what you're doing if you're not responding to people that are trying to get you to some pretty cool places.
That's great advice.
Outstanding.
It's something I used to say on the bench when I was coaching about respecting the game. I said, if you love the game will love you back.
Yep.
Always respect the game.
Coach, it's interesting. You talk about scoutings, and I tell this to kids all the time. I was fortunate to work in the OHL for many years, and I remember going down to Trenton maybe 2011, 2012, and I saw a couple guys that I knew. And like we were talking about earlier, what was and what is are two entirely different things. I can't tell you how many times I run into a guy, whether it be from the OJ, whether it be from the NAW, whether it be from this league, that league, OHL guys. And I always tell the kids this, okay? Just because you don't see them doesn't mean that they aren't there. And every day is an opportunity for you to show. And Coach Hunter jumped in. He said, make sure you never take a shift off. And so when I talk to some of the kids, I'm like, okay, you see that dude, that inconspicuous dude sitting up in the corner of the rink with a stat sheet? That guy's watching everything you do. And I think that goes hand in hand with what you were both talking about, that respect. And again, why this has turned into the proven path it has turned into.
And it leads to another great, I think, and it's the beautiful part about life and hockey. And we all have our own way to do things, but you can go to a rink and you can watch like a showcase with 16 teams, AAA tournament with 16 teams, and shoot, by Sunday morning, everyone kind of looks the same. But going to elite prospects is like if you're at the MDHL and you look up a kid, I could care less right now what a kid's stats are. I'm looking for that to see where the kid plays so I can call their coach and say, what kind of kid is he or she off the ice? Because if you're a jerk, don't want you.
Yep.
And about every junior coach is going to tell you the same thing, right? That they want character, that they want, you got to be able to play the game, but elite prospects doesn't always tell the whole story. So, and you mentioned it, whether it's Travis Perry calling and saying, hey, Sean, check this kid out. During the season, you guys do such a good job with happy birthday, Johnny kid today. I'm smarter than I look.
Happy birthday, kid.
It's a family, right? And that's what makes hockey. Caden Nieto, one of my captains this year, lost a heartbreaker last night in the American Legion baseball final in Shelby, North Carolina. It's like the leadership, the what that kid showed on the field. I can't wait to get him on the hockey rink again. But baseball's not like hockey. Football's not like hockey. Like hockey, I don't know if it's because you spend so much damn time together in hotels growing up, but it truly is a family. And going back to where we started, we're seeing that more than ever at the high school level, where you're getting the playing for your school, the family, kids are pulling their buddies back from AAA. And I just love it. Like, I love seeing that.
All right, Coach. Last year, I don't know if you expected it, but you had a big game on your schedule. In January, you won your 100th game, if I read this correctly, right?
I did.
Now this year, what are your can't miss games and big games on your schedule this year, if you can talk about it?
Yeah. So we've, you always want to schedule. Like, I don't care how good or how bad of a team I would ever have, but I never would want to go 25-0 and would never want to go 0-25. Like, honestly, 13-12 is pretty good. It means you're scheduling right. And this year we have Sparta again. Sparta was a great team last year. Played them down there, went up 2-0 early. I think lost 6-2 or 7-2. We have them again this year. We have Grand Rapids Christian. Zimmy's always got a good squad. We're taking a road trip. So Coach Chad played at Bowling Green. Bowling Green had a great year this past year. So we're making the trip south of the border on a
cool
Saturday. And so we figured, why not? We're going to play St. Ignatius on Friday. So you have that, but then you got your Dows, your Powers, your Bay City Centrals, your Heritage. So it's going to be and sorry if I left anyone off. Reese Puffer, who again was played.
What a run!
So we have a really solid schedule. Not knowing who we're going to play at the Muskegon Showcase, the Bay City Showcase. I think we got Rockford and. I forget who else at the Bay City Showcase, but maybe it's Puffer there. But so we have a good schedule. I'm excited about it. We're gonna challenge the boys this year.
Good.
I love. You said the S word, and I have pounded this so many times in the last 5-7 years. The showcases, as far as I'm concerned, you can't have enough showcases, and I'm serious. And I always go back, and their names need not be mentioned, but there was an MIHL coach and a KLA coach that would bicker constantly over who was the best league. And I finally said to both of them, I said, why don't you just shut up and schedule some kind of showcase? And the light bulb flickered and that showcase was born. Coach, I think this is fantastic. everybody wins, whether it's in Bay City or Traverse City or the West Side or, the granddaddy of them all down in Trenton. To see more and more of these showcase popping up, it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, and I said it, it's selfish a bit for me because I get to do a dual role, but I don't think it's selfish because I truly feel I'm helping in Muskegon 15 other teams. If I see kids that want to play junior hockey, that want the opportunity, I'm watching them. You're also seeing, like, we might not know who we play in Muskegon until I think Benny puts it out, mid-December, because he wants equal, right? Like, how our team's doing. Look at the NPR, which is a whole other fabulous thing that the MHSA hockey has gotten into. Last year in Bay City, we played Lakeland, right? And they had beat Power. Like, they went on I think we lost 3-2. They scored with a minute left. It was heartbreaking, but it was a great hockey game. And that we wouldn't have ever probably thought to schedule Lakeland or had the opportunity to play Lakeland if it wasn't for the showcase.
And if we add games and get up to 27 games, then what that means, more showcases, Sean.
Yeah, and more broadcasts for us. Who's kidding who?
That's
That's an absolute win. Mike, anything else for Coach Witt before we let him go?
I've got it all out of the way. I think we got it all.
All right. Coach, continued success to you. Really appreciate you and the Coaches Association and the board. I don't think that people understand how much behind the scenes is going on. I wish you all the best as a father as well. I dropped my daughter off to school today. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but when they're happy, mom and dad are happy as well.
100%. And he's going to, like I said, one at Grand Valley. He's at Ohio. I still have one at home who's playing for the Chemics this year. So I still have a buddy at home to wrestle around with. But yeah, it's a 12-month a year deal. I love it. I'll just get a last, I'm going to invite you, Sean, to come up and hang out at a Midland Dow game and
let's go. We're in.
See what that atmosphere is like for high school hockey in the community, and it's pretty special.
Absolutely.
Do me a favor, as soon as the schedule comes out and the dates, Mike and I will make a point to go up there.
The only thing we'll need is food recommendations, and usually it's the best barbecue spot in town is what we're going to want to know.
I got you, man. I got you.
Look at Coach Hunter walks in. He wants in, Dr. Kicklin up there in Midland, he'll want in as well. One of our old friends,
Doctor.
But Steve, count on it. Best of luck to you. Continued success as well. And really looking forward to the season. We were joking about it before we went on. It's 3 months in name only. We all know it's going to blow by. And the next thing you know, we'll all be at the rink.
Yeah. Thank God that your intro of just got me even more pumped. So that was even.
The head coach at Midland, Steve Witt. And again, we can't thank the Coaches Association enough for making this happen. It's the proven path each and every week. It's a pleasure to talk about something that we're both passionate about and speak factually about it as well. Hey, every path has its pros and cons. We're especially fond of this one. And this product just keeps growing each and every year. From my broadcast partner, Mike Iversall, I'm Sean Belegian. Until next week, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you at the rink real soon.
What the Puck, featuring Sean Belegian. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Matrazek. Executive produced by Sean Belegian and Todd Losey. Theme song and incidental music by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to What the Puck on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.